Right, so the next one is, sorry. Terry.
No, you just
Right, okay, right, Terry Delis. Thank you. Right, okay, and you're the one that's provided us with the image that I've been looking for.
There we go.
Thank you.
So firstly, thank you for your time. Really, I just wanted to bring to the council's attention that there is a need for a section of Richmond Hill Road to have a footpath, and that's very simply for public safety. I've highlighted a few bullet points there which I'd like to discuss. So very simply, you can see highlighted in red, that's the section where there is no footpath. The other point is that the road is relatively narrow and it's unmarked. Currently there's 246 properties on the hill. I've lived there for 3 years and I've seen the increase in traffic through that time with the extension of the Greenwood subdivision. So on that, subdivision 2B and C, there's just recently 31 odd sections have been sold. So there is an increase with the traffic, and most homes these days, I know we all want to get down to one car and biking, but the reality is that most homes actually have 2 vehicles. So you could do the sums. That's the sort of traffic that's going up and down the hill. We have got also an increase in the number of tradespeople, obviously with the new homes being built. And with those new homes comes a lot of new young families. So it's something that's not going to go away. Very simply, there are children walking and biking, mostly biking down the hill and pushing their bikes back up the hill because it's relatively steep. And we also have members of the community that often hike up this area and walk their dogs. It's becoming a popular route which connects you right through up to the walkways up top, which is fantastic. Recently, the speed limit was reduced to 40 kilometres, which is an improvement, obviously. But the reality is, because there's no footpath, you're walking on the road. So even if you reduced it to 30 kilometres or put speed cameras there, anything to stop someone from being harmed would be awesome, but the reality is I still wouldn't want to be hit by a vehicle at 30 kilometres an hour, to be honest with you. So the other thing is that with some of the people that are outside, I'm sure there are tradespeople that younger guys driving up and down, they think at the end of the day, they think they've finished their job and they're out of here and they whistle on down without any sort of consideration of anyone else on the road. Sadly, there is no mechanism, to be fair to the council, there's no mechanism to advise you of the near misses that have been, near hits that have been happening. I myself have been involved with about 3 or 4 in the 3 years with motor vehicles, but unless it's an actual accident, then it's a police matter. So to be fair to the council, you're not receiving any reporting on what's actually happening. And there is a risk at the moment, if we don't do something about it, that there is potential for someone to be seriously harmed or killed, and no one here would like to see that, obviously. So, any questions?
Sarah.
So my question was just around, in Nelson they had a similar problem to this, and there's 3 roads where they couldn't put in retaining walls because it was tens of millions of dollars. So, because it's steep, so they changed the road zoning to, I think it's called something like a mixed use road. It drops it to 30k, but it means the entire road is a footpath, is a cycle lane, is for driving on, and it worked for them. Would they consider that up the hill?
I'm not a road expert, to be honest. All I know is the width of the road, and it's on a steep angle. So with motor vehicles, you do have to accelerate to go up the hill. So the other point that I want to make that I haven't mentioned is that along that area there, that was all red zone, so there are no properties there. So there's plenty of space for a footpath. In fact, the footpath doesn't even have to be on the road. If it was possible, it could be put in the green strip, which would be even better.
Yeah.
So, just as a suggestion.
Yeah, Sarah's just sent us an email saying that very point. Sarah?
Yeah, I've just sent people a photo sort of from the road rather than from above.
Yes.
Showing the narrow width of the road and the bit of red zone on the
Yeah.
side. Does the red zone actually extend enough that it would connect the top footpath to the bottom bit? I'm not quite sure the exact property numbers.
I think there may be 2 or 3 sections possibly between, if you're looking on that map where I've highlighted in red.
Yeah, edges at the top
I think
and the
there's
bottom.
possibly 2 or 3 sections where there's no footpath, so it's only a
Yeah, it's
small
only foot, but they're all
section.
red zoned, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
There's,
So I
and
think
there are
there's-
no, there are, because of, there are not likely for homes to be built there in the future, as I understand. So,
No.
yeah.
My question is that, so there's a red zone property. Have you been approached at all as neighbouring sort of properties to red zone property and things about future uses for red zone in that area?
No, I haven't, no.
No. There's been no conversations yet. Yeah.
No.
So I think we need to look
But
at
I
that
mean-
to be able to get the footpath in on.
Yeah,
But
but it
my
may
underst-
well be that we can talk to Linz about that.
My
Yeah.
There
understanding,
are some money.
my understanding from geotechnical engineers that it's unlikely because there's a cliff face
Absolutely.
on the other side. So it's highly unlikely that I would think that properties will be built there in the future. So the green strip would be an ideal place for the footpath if possible.
Yeah. Well, the life risk issues are not so great when you're talking about an area for walking and cycling.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
The other thing to mention is that the road is actually badly damaged, so even when you're travelling up and down the road, your vehicle does bounce around a fair bit.
Yeah. I mean, the road is in the program for being
Yes,
redone,
yes.
which is why there was a small amount of money being brought forward to be able to do a footpath at the same time. That's what the proposal in your plan is.
Yes, and I was mindful of that, so the
Yep.
purpose of
Which is
my
great.
presentation was just to bring to your attention that we have
Yep.
quite a
And
serious
get on with it.
safety issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
That's lovely. Look, thank you very much for your submission and for providing the images. That's great.
Thank you for your